It's actually at the stage where it is problematic if you are involved anything in the WNBA to not hate Caitlin Clark. They were like, in the NBA, if you were...
One moment, the Indiana Fever were laughing, practicing, bonding like sisters. The next, everything detonated. Caitlin Clark suspended. And before the WNBA could even catch its breath, two more names hit the ground like shattered glass: Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, both walking out, leaving the Fever, leaving the league. The trio? Done. The reason? Nobody saw it coming. Before we dive into this wild storyline, hit like, subscribe, and brace yourself, because this might be the most emotional Fever chapter ever written. It all started on a quiet morning in Indianapolis. One email, a single line. Caitlin Clark suspended for one game. No explanation, no warning, no context. Coaches were stunned, players froze, fans went silent. But Sophie Cunningham didn't flinch. She slammed her locker shut and whispered, "If she's gone, I'm gone." Lexi heard it, and without hesitation, said the exact same words.
This is what happens when you're next to Caitlin Clark. You get access to things that you normally wouldn't get access to. And I think that's obvious for everybody to see. When you're next to Caitlin Clark, it's gonna, instead of people looking at it like she's dimming everybody else, like she's turning up the lights on everybody else and making everybody else shine brighter. Sophie Cunningham is a prime example. What nobody really, like, people say, oh, she's a beautiful blonde, blah, blah, blah. She looked the same way last year. What nobody really checking for? You get her next to Caitlin Clark. Now she's on Good Morning America. Now she got Arby's deals. Now she's everywhere.
Then I'm not staying either. No one realized how deep their bond had grown. No one knew how tightly these three had connected since training camp. But today, everyone found out it had started innocently. Caitlin cracking jokes during warm-ups, Lexi bringing snacks for every team flight, Sophie stepping in to defend Caitlin during a brutal practice. Then came the golf trips, the viral photos, the late-night talks about pressure, fame, and the noise that never seemed to stop. A trio no one predicted, yet one that became absolutely unbreakable. They weren't just teammates, they weren't just co-workers, they were family. So when Caitlin got suspended, it didn't feel like discipline, it felt like an attack. And families don't let one of their own face something like that alone. Inside the Fever office, alarms were blaring. If Caitlin walks, the franchise collapses financially. If Sophie walks, they lose their leader and their shooter. If Lexi walks, the chemistry evaporates instantly. This trio wasn't just popular. They were the culture. Losing them would be catastrophe. Phones rang nonstop. Emergency meetings erupted. Coaches demanded answers and nobody had any.
Side of your game and come into this game, and for her to do the same on your side?
Yeah, well, I remember last year when we were here, I was talking to Nelly about her shoes, because obviously, like, in the basketball world, like, you don't, like, you wear the team uniform, like, it's your shoes that are the cool thing. So I was, like, asking her about her shoes, and she was like, oh yeah, like, these are kind of basic. And then it's been cool to kind of watch over the course of the last year. She got to put in a lot of time to create her own PE, and very unique to her and what she's passionate about in herself. And obviously somebody that's very, very deserving, and it's been a top of the sport for a long time now. So I've played a few rounds with her even outside of here for some other stuff, and it's really fun to get to watch her do her thing up close. Like, talk about making it look easy. Like, it just is so easy for her, but at the same time, like, she's just a good person. Like, she's chill, she has fun with you out on the course. But yeah, her shoes are pretty cool. I'll make sure they get home safely, and I'm gonna be rocking them.
But the three stars had already made their decision. It was the moment fans would replay for years. Sophie quietly packing her bag, Lexi folding Caitlin's hoodie with shaking hands, Caitlin staring at her shoes, fighting tears that refused to stay hidden. No yelling, no cameras, just heartbreak. Sophie, if they suspend you, they suspend us all. Lexi, we're not letting you walk out alone. Caitlin, you guys don't have to do this. Sophie shook her head. We already did. Lexi gave a weak smile. We leave together. The room went silent. Minutes later, the news exploded across the internet. 3 stars. Gone. Commentators panicked live on air. fans flooded timelines with disbelief. What is happening? The WNBA is finished. This can't be real. The league scrambled, calling agents, drafting statements, trying to contain a story too massive to control. 3 players walking out for each other. Nothing like this had ever happened. This wasn't a scandal. It was a quiet revolution. And waiting on the horizon was something even bigger. Project B, mysterious, powerful, offering multi-million-dollar deals, no salary caps, no politics, no controversial suspensions, just basketball. Rumor had it they made one offer. We'll take all 3 of you, together. Sophie raised an eyebrow. Lexi froze. Caitlin whispered, together? Yes, together. For a trio who refused to abandon one another, the offer was tempting. Very tempting. Fans weren't calm. They weren't patient. They were furious. Thousands demanded answers. Why suspend Caitlin? Why push out Sophie? Why break Lexi? Crowds gathered outside Gainbridge Fieldhouse chanting, bring them back. Fix this now. We want our 3. Inside, Fever staff faced the truth. This wasn't a roster issue. This was the emotional collapse of an entire franchise.
Remember, you just lose these players straight up. You don't get anything back for the players. They're gone. We didn't get anything for Temi, did we? No, exactly. Let's take a look at the list that I've concocted. Number 1, you gotta court Caitlin Clark. The General. Last year, she averaged 16.5 points per game over a 13-game period, 8.8 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game, 1.6 steals per game. She is the franchise. She is the captain. She is the leader. She is the soul. She is the sun of this solar system. And everything needs to be built around her, predicated around her. The pieces need to be put in place this year, unlike last year, to get the most out of Caitlin Clark's abilities. That means when free agency hits, you don't sign 36, 37, 35, 34. You don't sign.
In a quiet room far from the noise, the trio sat together, hands intertwined, eyes red, hearts unbearably heavy. Caitlin whispered, I don't want to leave. Lexi answered softly, but we can't stay if this is how they treat us. Sophie inhaled slowly, steadying her voice. Then we stand together. One decision. One voice. The room fell still. 3 heads nodded. The choice was made. They stepped into the tunnel. Sophie on the left, Lexi on the right, Caitlin in the middle. Fans screamed, reporters swarmed, cameras exploded in flashes like a storm. But the trio didn't stop, didn't waver, didn't look back. They walked toward an uncertain future, but they walked it together. 3 stars. 1 bond. 1 exit. And the WNBA left in pure chaos. This storyline is fiction, a dramatic what-if showing how deep chemistry can go, how fierce loyalty can be. If you want part 2, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Bring the Fever Trio back.